A very big welcome to you, my dear Leo. So today is the day. Today you have the sun and the new moon in your sign, and it's the last time we're going to the left. And so you see that the path towards within is good, right? It's different than the path then to the full moon. So 6 months going slowly within. And 6 months going slowly without. I notice the difference when I do the reading, right? So yesterday I was doing the reading to the right. Now today, again, I'm gonna do the readings to the left. And so sometimes the first reading I have to be careful because sometimes I place it on the wrong side. And you see he's really calling into the subconscious and the higher conscious, right? Because here we have the 8, the 18, and the 19. And you see, this is the story. It's a beautiful story that is being told up in the sky. And we understand that you have the light and the dark, right? The moon is dark, the sun is fully bright. And so this is the combination. This is the moment, the yin and the yang, where you can plant a seed. And that seed is going to give you strength, and it's going to grow to the next level. Then we're going to look, of course, at Uranus. Uranus has moved into Gemini and is going to stay for 7 years, and that's the Fool. And sometimes we're foolish enough to think, well, I have this idea, and so what I'm going to do with it? Just do it, right? So we're going to look what Uranus is going to bring here. Then we're going to look, of course, at the King of Fire, and here we have 3 parts. We have the King of Fire with above the Chariot, and the Chariot is the soul aspect of Cancer, and here we have already the King of Wands. That's between the 13th to the 22nd of July. Is here your birthday? Then please look in the last reading. That's where the sun was in Cancer, and here I will talk about this combination, right? And so it's important that you understand that. Then we have the classical Leo, where the soul is the strength, and below we have the King of Wands, and that's between the 23rd of July to the 12th of August. Is your birthday there? We're gonna do this one today in this reading, right? And then we have another combination, and that's here below the Knight of Pentacles, and that's Virgo. But here, this is between the 13th to the 21st of August, where the strength is as a soul above the Knight of Pentacles. So understand the differences here, right? One is pure, one is mixed, right? And it's important that we understand that, because I have this from Aleister Crowley, Thoth Tarot, and he was very thorough in the way he was doing things, and so I am including that into my reading. Back to the last reading, where we had Cancer Sun giving Leo Moon the light. We had also the station Jupiter in Cancer is going to stay there for 1 year. Today we're going to do Uranus in Gemini staying 7 years. And the King of Wands got when happiness finds your core, and the Knight of Pentacles, taking action is fulfilling. And I looked if there's a recurring card wanting to talk, and there is. And so we're going to include that into the reading. There are 2 people coming back, and so we're going to, of course, look at that. Actually, 3 are coming back, right? And so we're going to look at that, and we begin, of course, with the King of Fire. So the King of Fire is having his heart pretty much open right in front of him, and here comes the 8 of Air, Jupiter in Gemini. And here we are prisoners of our own thinking. The 5 and the 8 is the 13, so go through that transformation that this type of thinking requires, right? Our thoughts, sometimes we don't even recognize that we are thinking them, and sometimes we just really need to be aware, and that's where meditation comes in. So all of a sudden we notice, oh, this is my grandma talking in my head, or my mom, or whoever. And so the 4 comes then from the 13. When we unite the numbers, we always want to go down to a single digit number because it's easier to, because then we are in the singularity of the number itself, right? So the 4 is then the emperor. The 4 is then being someone that says, well, I am going to let go of these 8 thoughts, right? They are keeping me somehow prisoner, and I need the strength to transform that. Then, of course, I want to see what is coming from the Mother Peace Tarot, and the emperor facing down has come up. And so the 4 and the 4 is a 4-4 portal. And it's really beautiful because it shows that here the emperor is not upright, which is quite a brutal Alexander the Great kind of leader. And when it's facing down, it's literally saying you have realized something. You cannot continue the way you have been acting, because sometimes you get these outbursts of energies, right, that are maybe even blocking you and that are creating things in your life that you then later regret that they happen. So there is a 4-4 portal, and in the 44 we see that double-digit numbers are bringing to you the awareness that 2 times the 4, the 2 is the creativity, the 2 is also duality, and the 2 is also the High Priestess in the Tarot. So understand that there is an intuitive push coming to you that says, watch what's wanting to talk here to you. Then we're going to look what, of course, Aries is saying, because it's the soul aspect of Aries. And here comes the Knight of Cups. And the Knight of Cups is Pisces. And the Knight of Cups is looking at Aries facing down. And it's really interesting because it's saying, well, have you realized that this is not working? And he, the 12th zodiac sign, becomes the 3 and the 4. That's a 7. And the 7 is the Chariot. The 7 is the emotional intelligence that we need to understand this, right? And so, of course, we have a 4-4, or we calculate here the 8 and the 5 together, which is the 13. The 13 and the 4 is the 17. The 17 is Aquarius, and Aquarius is the star, so a new age is coming. The 8 is left. The 8 and the 3 is then the 11 that is left here. So he's looking at that with a loving cup in his hands, and he's saying, okay, you can do it. You can let go of certain traits that are embedded in you. I am the Knight of Cups. I come and help you. So what is the Knight of Cups saying? He's getting Mars. He's getting the tower behind him, right? And it's almost like he's saying, well, I have let go of things. And so the 16 is the 7 and the 3 is the 10. There's a 10, the 10 and the 8 is the 18, and that's the moon. The moon, the new moon, is saying you need to let go, because here the Knight of Cups is literally lovingly saying, and they're coming after each other, right? He's the 1st zodiac sign and he's the 12th zodiac sign, and we understand that here is a deeper message. A circle closes, right? Something is closing and something is ending, and that ending is important. And so, of course, the 13, the 4, we leave the 44, and then here the 10. The 10 that is saying a new cycle is happening. Now, what is bringing the tower? And the tower is bringing the stingray. And the stingray is literally saying, have the spine to let go of things that really don't work anymore, that you cannot bring forward with love, right? It makes me remember the nonviolent communication of Marshall Rosenberg, right? And when we apply it, it's really fascinating how the people in front of us are opening, even though you're actually criticizing them. But you are not criticizing them in a way where you say, you do, you did, you are always, right? It's rather this like, I feel that for me, I feel uncomfortable when you talk like this to me, for example, right? And that's when the Knight of Cups is coming in. He's saying, well, I let go. I have the spine to speak through the cup things that are actually helping me, also speaking to yourself, right? Not just to other people, but speaking to yourself. I feel I want to be more loving towards myself, and this is what's happening here, right? And so you see that here we have the 10, and here we have literally the 7 chakras in the stingray, and so in a way that's a 17, and in a way we have an 8-8 portal, and that's powerful, right? That is literally saying, okay, you get it, you understand, right? Something is coming here, something is letting you know. An 8-8 portal, the 8, that's the strength that you are, so use it. Then comes here the Knight of Pentacles, which is the 6th house of work and routine, and we have the world that is coming. And he's walking into the world. The 21 and the 6 is the 27. Calculated together, we get a 9. And the 9, the completion, is saying, well, the world needs people who really do the work, really looking deeper into what is going on, right? We have the 4 and we have the 3 graces. It's kind of like this moment of like, there is Saturn saying, well, the world is tough, but when we calculate the 3 and the 6 together, we get the 9. There is a completion that is talking here. What is coming from the world? We get the Queen of Wands, and the Queen of Wands is here the Aries, right? Here is the Soul, and here's the Court card. And so you see that Aries is literally closing its eyes. Here are the pyramids. We recognize that's the 1. And so the 21 plus the 1 is the 22, and that's Uranus. That's the Fool, because we have 22 major arcanas. So the 0 is the 0, but also the 22. And when the 22 appears, I always see that this is the 22nd of June, right? The 6th. So recognize that there is an inspiration coming through Aries, because Aries has come up as the soul aspect, the Emperor, and then here as the Queen of Wands and Mars, which is ruling Aries, right? And so you recognize here Aries is talking, the 22 is coming, Uranus is coming and saying things are shifting and changing. What is coming from the mother piece? We get the Sun. The Sun right now in Leo is bringing here, this moment is bringing the Sun behind her head, the clarity, the intensity, but also the personality that we can become when we see that the world is asking us to do certain things. And we see the 22, and of course we see the 6. The 6 and the 10 is the 16. The Tower is appearing here again, and the Tower is saying, well, are you ready to let go of the things that you cannot change, right? Even deep within you, you cannot change everything that you are unless you are completely surrendering to the light, surrendering to the Sun that is ruling you, right? And so the 19 is the 10 and the 6, the 16, the 7. So now the 22nd of July is coming here as a date, and the 7 is the Chariot. The Chariot is bringing always the success. Now, what is, of course, here the Queen of Wands saying? We get the 7 of Swords, and that's Moon in Aquarius. And so we had here a 7 through the 16. There is a 7, 7, and a 22. Very clearly, I leave the portals because they are very empowering. And the 7 of Swords, right, Moon in Aquarius, is saying sometimes you have inner doubts, sometimes you are questioning. Here are 8 Swords, right? That's where you are holding yourself prisoner. And 7, that's 15 Swords. That's then the work, the career that you maybe need to look deeper into, right? But these are the 7 swords for here, the Knight of Pentacles, and here this were the 8 of Swords for the King of Fire, of Wands. So I'm not gonna really calculate them together, right? Because they are 2 different people. But nevertheless, there are 15 swords, and when we calculate them together, we get 6, and the 6 is self-love, right? Is the lovers. So you understand that you need to work on your self-doubts because you have the 7-7. Become creative in the way you're letting go, that you are undecisive, have inner doubts, and maybe even feel like you're the victim. Use the strength that comes to you and just change whatever you can change. Now Uranus. Uranus is bringing you the 2 of Swords, and that's the moon in Libra. Now these 2 swords I can calculate together with the 7 for the Knight of Pentacles, and there's a 9 swords, right? And so you understand that here is then the solution in a way. The 9 is then find in you the completion, and for the King of Fire, the 8 and the 2 is 10 swords. That's the end of suffering, right? And in that end, that suffering leaves you, and you are understanding that this is the moon in Libra. What is coming from Gemini? The 5 of Cups, Mars in Scorpio. So Mars has come up for the King of Fire. So let go because you get the stingray. Let go because you are understanding that here is a 7, and the 7 is Cancer, is the emotional intelligence to let go because the liberation is there. Let go, that 7 is important, plus a 0. Be foolish enough to let go of the things that really want to leave and find a peacefulness, cross dualities, and find the center, find the 0. Find here this 8, the infinite, right? And you will liberate yourself because here comes a bonne droite, right? When you do good, good comes back. And so now the moon comes, the new moon, and is bringing you the falling angel, the spiritual narcolepsy, the 19, which is interesting because that's the sun. And this fallen angel is literally saying, well, sometimes in a new moon, we feel like we're not good enough. We feel like this angel has been restrained, right, by whatever you feel you get restrained. So the 18 is the 9, the 19 is the 10. Again, the 19, the 10 is left. What is coming from your deck? You get the 2 of Earth, and that's Jupiter in Capricorn. So to get out of this, which is the 10 and the 2 is the 12, Neptune, which is in Aries, Aries has come up here through the Emperor, Aries has come up here through the Queen of Inspiration. Recognize that you are awakening to something because Neptune is in Aries. And Neptune is, we're not dreaming about it anymore, we're taking actions. And so the 2 of Pentacles and the 2 of Swords is a 22 as well. And that 22 is important because then you realize that you are waking up. That the 21 and the Queen of Wands, the 1 is the 22 as well, and that's where we take action, where we say, well, no more, right? I'm gonna go out there and do what needs to be done. And the 3 is left. Out of the 12, the 3 is left, and that's the Empress. The Empress is the one that can stand up again and say, well, I've fallen and 1 coin fell, but I have another coin up in the air and I go back up in the air. I know how to do that. Jupiter in Capricorn, I'm going to play, I'm going to fall, I'm going to go deep down into the dark side of the moon and awaken, right? And so then the sun is coming and bringing you the Earth, the 15. And the 15 is looking into the sun, right? It's saying, well, the 15, that's Capricorn, that's the work, that's the career. She has the sun, there is the sun. The 15 is the 6, the 19 is the 10. Again, the Tower. Letting go of things that don't work, letting go of things that say, well, It's finished because the stingray is coming. And the stingray, like we know, has the spine, knows all the colors, knows all the chakras from 1 to 7. And we understand it's a ladder from down to up, but there's also a ladder from up to down. And so the 16 turns into the 7. The 7 is saying, well, find that you are not a victim, find that you take action, find that you have the 2 of Earth, Jupiter in Capricorn, the 15 is Capricorn, that is the work, that is that pleasure to work something that you love and that you take care of. What is coming from your deck? The High Priestess. So we have 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times the 2. 5 times the 2 is the human, is that I am making my life special. I'm going out there. I have the intuition. I know what it takes, right? The 7 and the 2 is the 9. Here comes the completion. Here comes the moment where I recognize, yes, the 9 is in the 19, in the fallen angel. I know what I can do. I listen to the moon. I listen to the stars. I have the intuition and I just take care of it, because the 15 and the 2 is the 17. That's the star, and the star is opposite of Leo, and is going to give the light to the full moon in Leo in 6 months. So you know it's going out there again after this reading. But first you need to go deep down and really go deep, 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 deep within and learn who you really are. And who are you? You, the King of Wands, is coming. You are you, because here we have the 15, which is the 6, the 2 and the 5 is the 7, right? The 7 and the 10 is the 17. The 17 turns into the 8. The 8 and the 6 here is the 14, and the 14 is the 5. So the 5 are here, these 5 cups, where you let go so deeply that you are recovering, that you are letting go of things that don't make sense. And remember, you had the sun that came up. The sun is bringing you here the 15, and you understand very clearly that in this transformation you are coming up. You are you, right? In duality, in the 2, you're learning more and more to become you, to connect to who you are, right? And that's what it takes, because the 7 and the 6, that is of course the 13, and the 13 is the transformation, is Scorpio, which is Mars in Scorpio, the 5 of Cups, right? You are letting go. Out of the 13, that transformation is the 4, and the 10, the 14, the 5 is left. So you realize, right, that something here is really clearly talking also for the Knight of Pentacles, right? We have the sun, and the sun had the 15, had the earth, had that we are full of possibilities in our head if we see the solutions. And you see the solution, right, coming to you. You don't need to be here this victim. You don't need to have inner doubts. You just need to be you. And in that, things appear, things come, and that's what it takes, right? It's like the 10 of Swords, right? Then makes sense, right? Because it's a new cycle that is beginning for the King of Fire. The 7 and the 2 of Swords are 9. There's a completion for the Knight of Pentacles. And you are understanding, right, that the 22 has come, that Uranus, the Fool, is talking, that Uranus is literally saying, well, why don't you begin after this new moon, place that seed, let go of the things, because when you place the seed deep down in the dark, in the new moon, then it can grow into the sun. It can grow. Place that seed and you will see that you will find yourself. Deep down, you find who you really are. You are the King of Fire, the 5th house of joy and playfulness. And even here, the Knight of Pentacles is feeling that, right? Because he has also this, the 6-6 portal. He understands, hey, I am here to learn, I'm here to grow, and I do anything to really move towards the next level. Wow, what a beautiful reading. So I wish you a beautiful ceremony today, right? Plant the seed, let go of the things that you really want to let go. And I have to tell you that I'm taking a break with this channel. I have also another channel, but in the German language. And so I feel like I'm needing a little break here in this one because it's a little much. And I'm not sure if I'm going to ending it or if I'm just going to take a break. But once I know, letting all of you know. So, of course, I thank you very much for being with me. Namaste.